Santa Clara University today. Silicon Valley, Santa Clara University.
So we'll be with you, Professor. I don't have any confidence in the politicians.
Well, Santa Clara University is getting a multi-million-dollar boost, its largest donation ever.
Only on 5, Kit Doe explains how the money will go toward creating entrepreneurs who can have an impact in developing countries.
The Global Social Benefit Institute at Santa Clara University just got the mother of all donations, $25 million from this man, former venture capitalist Jeff Miller.
A Bay Area University is getting a cash infusion. Silicon Valley entrepreneur Jeff Miller is donating $25 million to his alma mater, Santa Clara University. He wants the money to be used to train and mentor what he calls global social entrepreneurs, focused on making the world a better place.
A multi-million-dollar donation to Santa Clara University could spur innovation of a different kind in Silicon Valley. As KCBS's Matt Bigler reports, a Valley venture capitalist wants to inspire students to be social entrepreneurs.
Jeff Miller, a Silicon Valley entrepreneur and venture capitalist, is hoping that the $25 million he and his wife are giving to Santa Clara University will spur this type of benevolent innovation.
Because if you travel over there, if you go see these people, the problems of poverty are now. The great thing about Silicon Valley, it doesn't wait for anybody. If you're not fast, you're forgotten. Time is not our friend. Do it now.
Well, Santa Clara University is significantly expanding its center dedicated to encouraging innovation and entrepreneurship, thanks to a $25 million gift from alum Jeff Miller and his wife, Karen. Miller tells KLIV why the couple decided to make the large donation to the university's Center for Science, Technology, and Society, which will now be known as the Miller Center for Social Entrepreneurship.
It begins here at SCU, goes on to NASA Ames, and then hits the road, a mobile laboratory where students control what happens in space. Jake Headland and Nick Zides are engineering grad students at Santa Clara University, but they're not always on campus, spending time in this mobile mission control to learn about how to reach up,
Standing by for AOS,
and work with satellite.
A new American investment fund is betting on women, and its founder is hoping to send a strong message to Wall Street and beyond.
My sense is that the likelihood that I will benefit from it after taking into account expense ratios is very small.
49ers President Parag Marathe quickly set the ground rules after his keynote address at the Sports Law Symposium at Santa Clara University.
A Santa Clara University student is following in some very famous footsteps after learning today that he won the prestigious Rhodes Scholarship. 2013 SCU grad Avon Sater-Malloy will start classes next fall at Oxford. This as part of the award. Sater-Malloy studied political science and environmental science at SCU.
The Santa Clara University Community Law Center is one of several organizations that has helped these so-called dreamers to apply for deferred status. The students still have to weigh the risk of registering with immigration.
New at 6, damage control at Uber. One executive in hot water and another exec trying to clean up the mess.
If there is an ethical reflection going on in Uber today, there ought to be.
Santa Clara University retail expert Kirti Kalyanam says Amazon has proven people love speed and convenience and will pay for it.
You pay $100 to Amazon to do Prime, right? What if you pay me the same $100 and I can start delivering things to you in the house at the same day?
A Santa Clara University psychology professor says he hopes this is a nationwide lesson.
What does this say about race relations in the United States, if anything? I think it says something powerful.
The absence of a yes means no.
Co-director and Santa Clara professor Barbara Means-Fraser says the film shatters the secrecy of rape.
It gives you a sense of what it means for somebody who has been raped and what kind of effect it has had on their lives.
The FBI has announced that Santa Clara University law professor Lynette Parker has been given one of the Bureau's highest honors for her work in combating human trafficking. Parker works out of the university's Alexander Community Law Center. She says her first exposure to human trafficking came in 2003.
The message that Martin gave some 52 years ago is still true. He talks about police brutality. He talks about the need for justice. He talks about the value of life and the value of all of the people of America.
Santa Clara, great school. A little over 50% of the students are accepted. 5,400 undergraduates. They have a career center on campus, counseling, networking, professional development for all students.
Great campus,
yes.
too, right?
Beautiful campus.
It appears that a lot of California companies owe their employees millions of dollars in wages. So, how can they get away with that?
They can do it with impunity.
And they do it.
And they do it with impunity.
Ruth Silver-Taub has been running a free labor clinic tackling these issues for 11 years at Santa Clara University's Catherine and George Alexander Community Law Center.
James Lai, the director of Santa Clara University's Ethnic Studies program, says the show will need to be cautious about stereotypes.
Within any kind of discussion of stereotypes, there's some truth to every stereotype, but the problem with stereotypes is we tend to generalize, and I think that's where we have to walk a fine line.
The water situation in California looks to only get worse this summer. For more, we turn to the KCBS Ring Central Newsline, where we're joined by Lindsay Kalkbrenner, a director of the Center for Sustainability at Santa Clara University.
Some students at Santa Clara University decided that shorter showers would help.
Students were asked to cut their showers by 60 seconds less to help with the drought. Student Alex Quo cast aside modesty to demonstrate a water-saving Navy shower.
Dorothy Glancy is a law professor at Santa Clara, known for her work in privacy law.
We're talking about buying a device.
Asian American Studies professor James Lai points out that Indians and Chinese account for more than half of the H-1B highly skilled worker visas issued each year.
Without a doubt, the gap is narrowing, but again, that gap is fueled by who we let in, and again, we have to be careful of how what benchmark we use to measure the gap between whites and Asian Americans.
I think one of the things it tells us is that these cases are very slow to come to justice.
Partnering with the Food Recovery Network, the two came up with a plan to collect excess food, primarily left over from catering events, and deliver it twice a week to Martha's Kitchen, a San Jose soup kitchen.
So that's been something that has been a pretty simple solution. It's definitely brought a lot of people together who are all passionate about diverting food waste.
Mike Sexton is Santa Clara University's Vice President for Enrollment Management. He says helping students at private schools is a good deal for the state.
If you look at it, $8,000 or $9,000, the state of California gets a college graduate with a much smaller investment than they do if they went to a UC.
And I'm Kit Doe. We're live here at Santa Clara University doing a story about virtual reality. It is smaller, faster, and cheaper than it has ever been. And this morning we'll take a look at how it's helping people with phobias.
There's no denying it. We're all afraid of something. Now there's a new high-tech way of dealing with phobias.
All right, here we go. Even though I know I'm standing in the engineering department at Santa Clara University. Should I open my eyes now? And even though my mind knows I'm safe with 2 feet on the ground. Oh, wow. My eyes do not care. Oh, my God.
We're all afraid of something, but now there's a new high-tech way of dealing with phobias. Students at Santa Clara University are using virtual reality goggles to help people deal with their worst fears like heights.
Well, Santa Clara Business celebrated a grand opening today with the help of students from Santa Clara University.
Small business truly is like the strength of a community, and I'm so glad that the university can be involved in promoting that and strengthening that, and giving students at Santa Clara a real practical opportunity to share their knowledge and their learning at the Levy School of Business with others in the community. Today, Pope Francis declared that global warming is human-caused and that more needs to be done to combat it.
Catholic teaching now includes teaching about the environment.
Father Michael McCarthy of Santa Clara University says past popes have spoken out on the environment, but none like Pope Francis, who's sending out a global call to action to save the planet.
No pope has ever really talked about the reality of climate change.
So Jesus Christ had a message for the world, which is that all human beings have value, and how we treat each other and how we treat the planet are a part of expressing that value.
Very optimistic that this very high level of teaching authority document, combined with the charisma, the credibility that Pope Francis brings to it, will put this issue of global climate change at the very top of the agenda for social reform of Catholics and all other people.
A constitutional law professor at Santa Clara University says the law is clear.
It is perfectly fine for people to espouse whatever they want about same-sex marriage, about sexual orientation. Those views are protected. Individual actions, like, for example, a clergy person actually having to perform a certain type of marriage, that would also be protected.
It is essentially a question that is in every constitutional case. But on questions of this level of social and political and religious significance, I think there's a greater question for the court to deal with of whether it's for them to resolve this for the entire country.
you.